Tom Porter.
Hello, buddy.
We actually got you in one place.
Yeah, there you go, for an extended period of time as well.
Yeah, so obviously those who are familiar with you know that you're basically like a gypsy, especially the last couple of years. And
yes,
here you are, you're in Iceland. What brings you to Iceland?
The weather.
No,
obviously here to do the team with Annie and the crew. Yes, why not come to Iceland, I guess. There's so many different reasons to be here. Once in a lifetime opportunity, something completely different. So yeah, just figured get in and give it a go.
Yeah. So how did that process happen? I mean, did Annie reach out to you like through like a text, an email? I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah. So I got a message from Annie on Christmas morning, or Christmas Day. And it was basically saying, hey, I know this is like last minute, but is there any chance you'd be keen to come and go team in Iceland? This is the team we've got lined up. And I just made like a snap decision. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty keen for that. Let's do it. She was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. And then I kind of thought, okay, there is probably some thinking that needs to go into this. But then I sort of spoke to a bunch of different people, got a bunch of different opinions, and yeah, here I am. I got nothing really tying me down in any one spot anymore at the moment, which is cool. So opportunity to kind of come and travel and be based here was, I don't know how long that will be. So may as well take those chances when you get them. So
what was your goal coming in this year? Was it to go individual, go team?
I had no idea. That's the thing. So that was kind of, it answered that question for me. I sort of assessed my efforts last year, and I kind of just missed making the games individually twice, both at the semis and then at the last chance qualifier. And so that was bittersweet. Like I sort of thought to myself, if I had the potential to go back, but I knew that I was going to have to put in more effort. I was juggling. I went back to school full time last year, and then juggling that, and then just, I guess, I was still training a lot, but it was very much one of many priorities. And I realized that that's just not going to cut it anymore. I'm not good enough, and B, everyone else is so good now that they are doing it as a priority, that for me to go individual, I knew I was going to have to make some big changes, and I just wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. So then I thought about going team. I thought about trying to put together a team. I'd actually reached out to a couple of people around Sydney to kind of gauge what they were doing to see if maybe we wanted to put together a team there. But one of those people was Alethea, and then she had surgery, and then there's a couple of other people. My goal going team in that scenario was going to be to kind of just have like a relaxing year and not have to have it as a priority, but still be able to be good enough to probably make it as a team member. And then, Annie's offer just kind of, it made sense. It was an answer to that. It was a cool opportunity to throw myself completely into training and competing. And that's that's it. So it answered that question, came here. This is unlike any environment I've ever been in training-wise before. The level of coaching from Yami it blows my mind, like his attention to detail, his involvement throughout the entire process, from the moment we start warming up to even outside the gym. What are we eating? Like, what's going on with our health and all this sort of stuff. He is just mind-blowing. Like, having a coach like that that's as hands-on as that, and then having obviously the athletes around you, like the people that we're competing against every single day in the gym. I spent the majority of my CrossFit career training with people that great people to train with, but just a completely different set of goals and completely different skill levels. And then now having people that, every day it's like CrossFit Games caliber, not just CrossFit Games caliber, but like CrossFit Games champion caliber, CrossFit Games top 10, like Björgvin's one of, consistently places so highly at the games. Like, these are people that are the best in the world at what they're doing and have been for a long period of time. And like, they are my training partners now. It's very, very cool, mate. Very cool.
Yeah. You talked about, just having that consistency, having that coaching. Do you think that this is good at this point in your career? I mean, obviously you've been a part of the game for a while, but at this point in your career, having, someone like Yami, having like a structured life for a person who's known to live a life that's kind of unstructured, how important is that? Yeah.
I mean, it's the game changer. It's the difference between me staying competitive, I suppose, and not at this point in time. Like, I don't think in the environment I was in Sydney, even if I had have gone all in terms of tried to make training my priority, I don't necessarily think that I was in the right environment to do that in a way that would still be that would give me the best opportunity to stay competitive, because I don't know how competitive I'm going to be.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do the open, but we're very much just kind of let's just get the workouts done. So I probably won't have an opportunity to test myself as an individual, but you know, contributing to the team and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see my own progress in an environment like this. And hopefully, yeah, contribute to the team standing on that podium at the games.
You mentioned that you're going back to school, and I mean, you're a man that wears many hats. How do you juggle all that, especially being in a, you know, kind of being out of your element, being in a new country, and then, you know, obviously you're pursuing a master's, correct?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, still just doing my degree.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even better.
Yeah. Yeah. How do I juggle that? Very good question, mate. I think it's funny for someone that struggles to stick to routine. I really thrive when I am in routine. And that's something I've only really come to appreciate and realize probably during the pandemic, when I was so out of routine, and just the toll that took on my everything, mental health, mental and physical health, really. It was a struggle. And I don't know. I think that having that routine here and I'm on someone else's time schedule, which is really good for me, because if I make my own schedule, that's when it can get a little bit wayward. So I know I have to be here at 9 a.m. in the morning to do our first session. I'm told when our next session will be in the afternoon from that. So I know I have a finite period of time. That middle of the day is a good period of time because everyone back home is asleep. So it's not like I'm talking to people. So I just take myself off and I can dedicate that block of time to study. I'm back at uni now. I'm only going part-time at the moment. So I'm only doing 2 subjects, but it's a nice way. And the subjects I'm doing now, like, because I'm at the end of the degree, all the subjects we do are really interesting. So it is a really enjoyable way to kind of shift my focus outside of the sessions. And so with that, you know, I'm sure the assessments will be stressful to get done. And I know that some of them fall around semifinals. But even again, I think, I don't want to count our chickens before I hatch, but I dare say we're probably going to make the games. And with that being the focus, like the games being the focus and that being in August, yes, we want to be in our very good shape for the semifinals, but it takes that stress and pressure of, as an individual, trying to juggle. Semifinals last year was right around the same time as my final assessments and exam period. In fact, I finished uni the week after semifinals. So sure, my focus was there, but it was the two were just kind of with each other, push and pulling in different directions. And I feel like now I can still be doing my uni assessments at that pointy end. And then the beauty is once the semifinals finish, my assessments and stuff are finished as well, and I'm on uni break. So when I have that block from semifinals to the games, I'm not even going to have to think about anything else. And so, yeah, I think it's when I start to balance too many things, and I think even just, this is going to sound terrible, but like not really having a social life, like just sitting, like that helps as well, because I'm not spending my afternoons and evenings with other people. Like I'm not having to go, I'm not I'll go for walks and I'll go to dinner on my own, but I'm not going out on the weekends, which then means that my Sunday is written off, and then all these kind of things they're freeing up not only time, but mental energy that I can direct to that juggling process, and it makes it a little bit easier, and half the workload.
You've been a big proponent of identifying and sharing your own struggles of mental health. I mean, and you started a podcast about talk about how that came about and what brought that upon. Yeah,
I had a conversation with someone actually at Whatappalooza, and he was saying that it would be a good opportunity, it would be a good idea to start really exploring more of that mental health side of things. You know, it's what I am the most passionate about, and I think it's multifaceted. I think that just mental health and the way that improves quality of life and also performance, and it's something that it's being explored, but I feel like it's being explored on such a surface level, And so the idea behind the podcast was to combine both, obviously, my knowledge and, I guess my knowledge and experience in that world with my own personal experience, and to create something that, first and foremost, is able to speak to people that are potentially dealing with maybe similar situations that I have, but also to provide information based on the stuff that I have learned and over the years, through working with therapists, doctors, shrinks, all sorts of different people. And also just like share, I have wanted to write all these thoughts down, but it's a lot easier for me to just sit and talk than it is to stay focused long enough to type. But yeah, it's good. I had a bit of a kind of freak out with it last week. So I was like, I'm going to do a weekly episode. And I was like, the topics, obviously I want to do a really good job. I don't want to just kind of talk and it not be adding value. Like it's not a podcast just talking about my own experiences and my own stories and stuff like that, because I think I want to add value for other people. And, you know, there's the relatability element. That's great, but I don't think that's necessarily enough. I want to go beyond that. And so putting in the time to research the topics and to make sure that I have, more than anything, like a coherent script and structure to follow, so I don't just fucking waffle for 2 hours. And then juggling that with everything else, it probably will go back to being more of a once every 2 weeks type thing. But yeah, I'm super happy with how it's going now. The feedback's been phenomenal. Yeah, it's doing, like, talking about mental health is really interesting because it opens, and you want it to encourage people to have conversations, but then a lot of the time those people will then start coming to you as like people you don't know, and you get these incredible messages from people. And I always feel so bad because I don't have the time in the day to actually engage with everyone, or to be honest, with anyone. Like I sort of, yeah, that can be a little overwhelming, but at the same time, it's a really cool thing to be doing. It's what I'm passionate about. It's what I want to do long term, is work in that mental health space. And I don't know how or whatever, but yeah, it's good, man. It's just another creative outlet and avenue for me to get to speak about something I'm really passionate about.
Another thing you kind of mentioned is, like, you said you have a couple more years of competing competitively in CrossFit, but, you know, what are your plans after your CrossFit career? I mean, you mentioned something about maybe getting in, you know, you have a journalism background, you have an acting background.
Yeah, so I did journalism, I did a presenter's course. I'd love to do some stuff, like some media stuff, but I don't know in what space at all. I've always, funnily enough, felt comfortable enough in front of a camera with that stuff. I honestly, I don't know. I think I like the idea of having a few different things going on. Myself and James Newbury have a really cool project in the works, business thing in the works. Then obviously I want to do some stuff in the mental health space. I've finished my counseling diploma, so I can actually start practicing as a counselor hopefully this year. So yeah, like I definitely want to do something in that kind of therapy, coaching, psychological space eventually. But then I'd also love to have, like, you know, a few different things ticking over, different business ideas, and then, yeah, doing the media stuff as well. But I think I get bogged down thinking about the future, and I think that right now my focus is primarily on the present, and which is a cool thing. So I'm not, you know, it probably sounds like, oh, he has no idea what he wants to do. I have too many ideas of what I want to do, which is probably a good thing to have, but none of them are really taking my attention at the moment. It's just, how can I get better every single day? That's my goal right now. How can I improve my performance and as a human being every single day? How can I get better? And that encompasses physically and mentally. And then everything else just has to work around that for the time being. Then we'll see where that takes me.
Final question, and you mentioned you don't want to think too much about the future, but if you guys finished on the podium, will there be a shoey?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't have to think about that for the future. Yeah. I don't think the girls are too sure what a shoey is just yet, and we're like going to keep it that way.
So maybe one of these sessions do a shoey practice?
Absolutely not. It has to be off the cuff.
All right. Okay. Thanks so much.
No worries, buddy.
I appreciate it, and can't wait to see you on top of that leaderboard.
Pleasure, mate. Cheers.